Welcome to Chuffin Eck, episode 4, The Ramblings of a 50-something couple from Yorkshire. Scaremongering, grifting climate nutjobs.
So this week, lately I've been taking a bit of an interest in climate change, more so than just dismissing everything that's been coming out. And I've been reading a book called The Politically Incorrect Guide to Climate Change, which has made me aware of statements that get made and reports that are made on websites and on TV over how they report what they class as being dramatic rises or drops in climate, whether it's warming, cooling, because it does flip and flop. And this week I noticed there was a yellow warning, which was on the Met Office website, which basically said stop indoors, don't go out. The UK, and I just thought, wow, blimey, where's this coming from? So I had a quick look on the website, and when it showed the yellow block of where the warning was, it was in like the top half of the Highlands in Scotland, nowhere else, where they were reporting up to, I think it was 85-mile-an-hour winds. And I thought, I'm sorry, I remember as a kid, I remember temperature wind speeds being 120 mile an hour. There was an instance in 1987, I think, where they got the weather wrong, and this storm came in, and everybody were caught out, and trees were blown over, and there were loads of accidents. And Michael Fish, the weatherman at the time who did it, he got absolutely lambasted for it. But now it seems to be anything above a little bit of a breeze, and we have to go and sit inside and protect ourselves, which is, I think, where is the whole climate change agenda is coming from, and it's all based on fear. Now, I went and looked on. I found a global wind map after looking at these wind speeds, which basically showed the. I think they must get it from satellites, which shows the temperatures around the world. And it's a lovely little globe, and you can turn it round and look at all the different areas of the world. So I zoomed into where we were, and there was like a bit of a cyclone type a swirl at the side, just going up towards Iceland, coming in towards Scotland, and there was a little bit of a red bit in the middle. It was all mainly green, with lots of tight lines around it. And then when it got to the land, the lines sort of spread out. When you clicked on the land, you were looking at 15, 20 mile an hour. But when you clicked in the centre of this swirl where the red was, it was a maximum of, I think it was 84 knots, or was it? Oh no, it might have actually been 94 knots, which I think works out about 60 mile an hour max. And this is while it's at sea on the flat. So this is before it's hit the land. And when it hits the land, it sort of rises up, and the land sort of slows the speeds down. So it was always going to be less. And that's what they were basing all these claims on, that everybody had to stop indoors, and it was a bit of an eye opener for me. And I just thought, I bet there's not many people that do this, that do look, they look at the headline, and then they make a choice to stay indoors or not to travel on that day because there's a yellow warning out. They don't tell you where the warning is unless you click a little bit further into the website. The media, they go for it. They do the shocking headline, yellow warning. They may tell you that it's in some parts of Scotland, but it seems to be a little bit rare that they do that. And this seems to be the way that things are going.
Well, yeah, you've only got to see the maps that they're putting up now on the weather reports where everything's red. Red going down to amber, then yellow.
Like it was with the temperatures, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
like
The
it
summer.
for the temperatures, where it's all based on fear. It's same as the cold. The cold's always the beast from the east, or
Yeah.
an icy snap. You must not go out. How do you think people got on before they told us all this? What did you do? You looked out of your door and took your chances, didn't you?
Mm, yeah.
And there's still loads of people do that now, but yeah, it's built on fear and scaremongering and control, as we sort of know. Talking about cold snaps, I was perusing Twitter this week, as I do, and I came across a post. I'm sorry, I don't know whose post it were, I've forgotten. He was linking an article on a website called What's Up With That? Apparently, they claim to be the world's most viewed site on global warming and climate change. A guy called Willis Eschenbach, I hope I've pronounced that right, discusses an article from Forbes. And this is entitled, Thanks to Climate Change, February is now the cruelest month. This is written by a guy called Jeff McMahon. So he discusses global warming and he's saying it's causing a colder February and Arctic cold outbreaks in Texas. And this is all according to some climate guy called Judah Cohen. He's saying that the Arctic is warming at a rate twice the global average, and severe winter weather is reported to be increasing across many heavily populated mid latitude regions. But there is no agreement on whether a physical link exists between the two phenomena. He says we use observational analysis to show that a lesser known stratospheric polar vortex, long word, disruption that involves wave reflection and stretching of the SPV is linked with extreme cold across parts of Asia and North America. Well, it sort of lost me a bit there, but I thought I'll carry on. And this is including the recent February 2021 Texas cold wave. Now, Texas is not really, I don't think it's a cold place, is it? I've not,
No.
I only know from watching westerns, etc., but it always seems quite sunny and dry. But anyway, he says it's been increasing over the satellite era. He says, and this is the biggie, we then use numerical modelling experiments forced with trends in autumn snow cover and Arctic sea ice to establish a physical link between Arctic change and SPV stretching and related surface impacts. Stay with me. Not satisfied with Cohen's model data, Willis did some digging and he compared real world data using the US February temperatures from 4 different data sets. He used Berkeley Earth, Ceres, NOAA, ClimeDiv, I don't know what these are, and the UAH MSU lower troposphere data. And all but the Ceres dataset cover the 1979 to 2021 period covered by this study. And he discovered in all 4 datasets, February has actually been getting warmer, not colder. So, Willis summed up, how did they get Cohen's results? Well, they didn't look at observational data. They used a climate model fed with the results of a climate reanalysed model. So they're basing climate change on no real world data.
Yeah.
It's all some figures that they put into computer, press a button, and it'll churn out what it thinks might happen. And we know this happened during COVID for the cases, etc.
But that sounds like so they had some model data.
Yeah,
So they then fed the model data into another model,
another model,
which gave them the data.
which is modelled. Yeah,
So none of it is based on real life. It's just all based on computer generated guesswork
that's right. Yeah,
using certain parameters.
exactly. None of it's true
No.
because they can't prove it because it's not happened.
No.
And this is happening a lot, isn't it? In
Yeah,
every
it is.
single scientific study that they propose to do, when they want to do something, they'll use model data and they'll only use the model data that comes out in favour of what they want to do.
Yeah.
I.e.,
Yeah.
they're wanting to now do 15-minute cities, zone every area off because they're saying CO2's killing 2 people a week or something silly like that. They can't prove that it is. It's modelled. They can't prove any of it. They've no real world data on this. They've no real world data that CO2 is harming anybody on this earth,
No.
but they want to use that.
Well, it's like with the temperature rising from Al Gore.
Yeah,
When he did his report way back in 2014 or 2020, it was around about there, I think. Could have been a little bit earlier, actually. He estimated that the world was going to be under water by about 20 feet
yeah,
because of global warming, which would melt the ice caps,
mm,
which would cause the sea to rise.
yeah,
What he then failed to tell us was that they were using satellites to get the level of the sea, the height of the seawater, which has only been going on since, was it 1992 or something like that. Whereas docks have got these gauges on them, which tells you the height of the water, and they've been going since about 1800. Now, if you use those gauges, the temperature has barely risen. Sorry, the level of seawater has barely risen.
mm,
To get the level that he says is going to happen, it's going to take about 3,500 years.
yeah. All these people that are telling you that, they've all got beachfront houses, haven't
Yeah,
they?
they have. They
Multi-million
have.
pound
Yeah,
beachfront houses.
yeah.
You'd think they'd move a bit inland, wouldn't you? You
You
know,
would
if it
think.
were
You
that
would think.
dangerous.
It's all one big scam. It is all one big scam. And the media are quite happy to follow along with it, which baffles me the most. But no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It did baffle me the most right up until COVID hit, and then from that point onwards, it's just been one whole big mashup.
How rich has John Kerry got from this? What a grifter.
Yeah,
How rich as is it Al Gore,
I'll
the other
go.
one? Yeah.
Yeah,
How rich is he from this?
absolute multi-millionaire,
Yeah.
and he's still banging it out. We were supposed to be the ice caps was meant to be thawed. There was meant to be no snow
Yeah.
in 2021 or something like that.
What country was supposed to be undersea by now? Was it a part of America? Was it Hawaii or something like that? Was supposed to be
Yeah,
by now, probably 2002. I think I've not got the data, but some silly date, and that was supposed to be
but there's
under.
them beautiful islands, isn't there? Is it Indonesian area where there's they stood on still little tiny stilts and you
Yeah,
can dabble your feet in
yeah.
water and they're beautiful. The glass bottoms and you can see the water.
Mm.
They're still there. They've not risen one bit.
They'll still be there when we're dead and buried, and our kids are in his 50s.
Yeah,
Because
they
it's
will.
all a load of pling plong, isn't it?
Tosh.
Yeah,
It's basically the Earth doing what it does.
yeah. It's. I'll paraphrase Willis. He sums up his piece by saying, uh, climate insanity. It's kind of amusing to watch, or it would be if climate alarmism wasn't so dangerous, particularly to the poor. This kind of madness is driving energy prices through the roof, and that's the cruelest tax of all because
Mm,
it's built on a lie.
yeah.
We're suffering it now where, an old lady the other week, she's froze to death. She died
Yeah.
because she froze to death. Really, in this day and age.
The thing is that the normal average run of the mill person tends to be a little bit thick. They tend to just sit and watch the TV. They
Mm.
tend to watch the soaps. They tend to talk about the soaps. And then that's all about that they do. We've talked about this before, where people say, "Did you see what happened on Coronation Street or EastEnders last night?" And we'll say,
We don't
"No,
watch
we
it.
don't watch them."
Well, what do you do?
And they've no idea what else you do. But you
What do
sit
you
and you
do?
read books, or you
Yeah.
sit and research things. You're trying to understand what's going on in this world. And this is probably one of the better journeys that I've been on, and I'm lucky to have taken it with you.
Yeah, it's still scary though. Sometimes you wish you didn't know what you knew because you just don't know where it's going to go next. Or you sort of do, but you hope it's not going there.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem with those that are just coming around to it all now, because there are those who are accepting it and then they're running with it because they see it for what it is, and then there are others who kind of see it well for what it is, but they don't want to accept it because then it suddenly becomes reality.
Mm.
Then.
true.
and they've got to deal with that. And
Yeah.
I think that's a problem for people. There's people like that at work for me. It's
It is a problem because if they did actually lift their head out of the sand and stuck with us and stuck with people who are trying to change things,
mm,
it would change a lot quicker.
yeah, it would.